Yeah, oh man, dude, I gotta find some more beats. I know that, but damn, I like that beat. I
Yeah, that's good.
fucking love that beat. Hey man, before we bring in our guest, tell me this, man. I saw this thing today. You know how every now and then, like comedy class pop up in your feed.
Right.
I'm looking through this comedy class, and with everything, I get to one point when it says, "Learn how not to offend people with jokes," and I'm like, "So how are you supposed to do that, bro?" I mean, I know
Wow.
common sense would tell you what should be offensive, right?
Right. Exactly.
But somebody's gonna be offended regardless. So
Yeah.
how do you not offend anybody?
Yeah. I don't know what the. I guess it's. Are they just trying to have people teach without any opinion? Because you're going, like you said, you're going to offend. Because if you, even if you say it's a normal everyday thing, well, you're going from the idea that the majority of people think that whatever that behavior is stupid. Well, what about if you're on the other end? You're on the other end, and you're
Yeah,
the stupid person, and now you're offended. You know?
yeah, yeah. You just get called out because your shit was ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know what to do. But before we bring in our guest, let's just say hello to Steve. Thanks for checking in, Steve. Happy Friday, to you. Hey, Catherine, what's up? And of course, our boy Brian Doggett says, "Happy motherfucking Friday, people." We made it through the week without stabbing someone with a fork. Yeah, exactly. Dominic, what's up? Happy Friday to you. Lynn, you are right. You think people have any common sense anymore? No,
No, no,
they don't. They
no.
don't. And I appreciate you, Brian, because Brian says that I offend everybody, which is true. And speaking of someone who has offended people with his stand-up, definitely that each one of us has. But I like to bring one of our past guests in. He is with us today, um, Jimmy. Jimmy D Della Valle. Hey, Jimmy,
What's up?
tell us the truth, Jimmy. You know you
What's
have
up, you
offended.
black motherfuckers?
There you go. See,
It
comes
used to
in
be
offended
cool. I
people.
used to be able to say that. And now I'm like scared and shit. You know, scared you know what I mean? It's crazy. You know,
uh,
as we joked earlier about Dwayne Perkins, one of my best friends in comedy. We came up together since the '90s, and I remember riding on the. We go doing colleges together and everything. And he's like, and he goes to me, he goes, man, he goes, what's your favorite saying? And I go, man, it's a little racist. And he goes,
oh.
he goes, what do you mean? He goes, let's say it together. And he goes, I'll say mine, you say yours.
Oh, don't say the N word here, bro. 'Cause you know everybody go off on you.
And I go, this and here, right? This and here. He goes, isn't it the greatest? I go, I wish I could say it. I can't say it. And he's like, you can say it. And I go, really? He goes, no, don't fucking say it.
Yeah, you.
I just thought it was the best saying, like,
Yeah, but come on, Jimmy. That was a tight. That's always been a tight rope. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Now, by the way, Lynn says that I like to be an equal opportunity offender. I offend everyone equally. You're right. Debbie says, "Hey, the party can start." She's here. Hey, and Jeanette Parker Lewis, the woman crush, has stepped in. She has hung with me a few times. She knows how easily people can be offended by
oh,
stuff that I have to say. So yeah, people are ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
They're
yeah.
totally ridiculous. And can we say much respect? We've lost a few people. Shock G from
Yep.
Digital Underground's gone.
Mm.
Carl LeBeau
Carl above just saw that. Yeah.
just
Legendary
gone.
comic.
Yeah, man. I mean, so we're just missing people, man. We're
Yeah.
missing people. Hey, Catherine, good point right here. What do you think of this, Jimmy? She says we should ban snowflakes from comedy shows. Cancel culture is creating a snowflake pandemic. Doesn't anyone want to just laugh anymore? Which is,
Mm.
Yeah. Well,
No,
I start even though it is Holland America, I started starting my shows by the announcement that if you are easily offended that this isn't the show for you, and I forgot what the whole spiel was, but it was something to the effect of that this is what is that word that they were using? I got to think of it. But whatever the zone was that you just can't, no matter whatever it is, this is that type of zone thing. And I felt it was necessary because of the fact of, that's how people are. So.
Yeah, it's always something, man. There was a teacher in Ohio who was suspended after she gave a quiz on ethical dilemmas that included sex and violent behavior questions. So yeah, apparently parents were offended at shit that was definitely going to happen in that kid's life later on. I don't know how old the kids were at the time, but I mean, if they were high school students, I'm fine with that. But if they're like 5, 6 year olds, like no,
safe space. That's right. Lynn got it. It's to the point where I don't remember any part of my act. I gotta rely on people who have seen my act to tell me how the act went. Safe space, not a safe space. That's right.
Joe Dark says, "Can we cancel the term cancel culture?"
Yeah, no.
What do you, Jimmy?
Yeah, man. It's disgusting. Like I can't imagine how it's going to be for us to go back out and have like. I like to when I talk in the show, I like to acknowledge you. Like one thing that I've seen in the last year or two, in my whole career, I've always asked, "Hey man, hey, you have a very exotic look. What's your nationality?" "I'm American." Like I get a lot of that American. "I'm American." Meanwhile, she might be Caribbean. She might have some exotic look to her. You know what I mean? And I'm like, no, but your parents, and then they don't even know anymore. They literally don't know. Like I'm Italian, and some people are like, I don't really even know Italians anymore. And I'm like, because motherfuckers all say they're American. It's upsetting. The cancel culture of, Pepe Le Pew, Dr. Seuss. That's all the craziest stuff. Me and my wife were joking about it the other day. Of our friend Rhonda, and she's like, she wants to go to like Peru and go on this big jungle adventure. I'm like, shit. All of a sudden, I'm in the freaking pot like Bugs Bunny, and they're cooking my ass up. And she goes, that's hilarious. She goes, normally I'd be like, hey, you should use that in your act. She's like, now it's like, oh, you can't use that in your act no more. Right?
Do you find
with the exception
like
of that island where you go to where they will kill you?
Yeah.
Like, remember just recently there was the like missionaries that went to it. They were told, don't go to this island because that's what they do. They kill you. And they went and they got killed.
Yeah. So it's such a fucked up situation.
I don't know. Man, they're starting in on you, Lamont. Yeah. Dominic says the passengers of Holland still have to hear Lamont's show. There's a traffic jam of walkers and wheelchairs.
They won't hear it. They just turn off the hearing aids. It won't
okay. Debbie Davis says not to go to the teacher thing, but I think I need to say a disclaimer every day. You don't want me to encourage you to do your work. This is not the show for you. You had a 14-year-old tell you he didn't like me because you made him do work. What the fuck? Are you kidding me?
He gave her class a dislike, gave it a thumbs down.
Yeah, well, so what are kids doing, like a Yelp review on teachers now?
Oh, have you watched Kim's Convenience yet?
No, I haven't seen it.
Do you guys know about it?
Yeah, I know
what it is. What is it? I don't know what it is.
He's like a Korean deli owner. He's like a Korean Archie Bunker. He's racist. First episode is called Gay Discount. He's like, I give you a gay discount. You coming to my store. Like, and then the one dude's not gay and he's trying to get the discount. They just got picked up for another season. So the dude who is one of the stars, he plays the son, He's playing Shang-Chi. Have you seen the previews for Shang-Chi?
Shang-Chi, yeah.
Yeah. That's him. That's the son. And the thing is, as you talk about cancel culture and how people are with participation trophies, there's a thing where he goes, this lady's going, she's just like, not scolding her kid, and the kid is just throwing shit everywhere in the convenience store, and he goes, no, he's going out of his mind, no, and he comes up to the kid and he goes, bam, and he flicks the kid in the forehead, and the lady goes, we don't say the N-word. He goes, I don't say the N-word. And then the black lady comes into the camera. Like, I'm not saying the N-word. Like, I say no. Like,
who greenlights this stuff, man? Who greenlights this? I don't understand it.
So it's crazy. It's
Kim's convinced. It's a Canadian show.
Yeah, it's Canadian.
Yeah, it started in Canada.
They're looking. Canada will get away with anything. You can't. There's no way it could be here. There's no way they would not. They would not go for it.
Man, I mean, it's like these shows that get greenlit. Like what's that show? Oak Island Treasures. The Treasure of Oak Island. That show's been on for several years. They haven't found any treasure. They find like a nail or a piece of wood, and I think they made more money from the show than they have of any treasure that they've all actually found. And I think they get more money from advertising for this is a special backhoe you can use. I think they get more money from those kind of people. Oh man,
yeah, we're in a different world, man. And do you think that COVID is what did this to us?
Oh, it's a big. What do you think, Lamont? I think it's a big factor in it. I think COVID was a big factor in actually getting a guilty verdict for the George Floyd cop, because everybody was home to see it. I think we talked about that before. Everybody's sitting at home, so.
Well, that's the OJ trial of now.
Well, speaking of that, man, somebody sent me the OJ's comments on it.
Oh yeah, on LeBron.
On LeBron.
Yeah, I saw that early. I saw it, and then I commented earlier saying, "How crazy is it when you're watching OJ make comments, and at the end you think, OJ's got a point."
OJ got a point.
That was craziness, man. I'm like, really, OJ? All right, yeah, man, you're right, but damn. That's like,
yeah. That's who was it? The comedian Dobie Maxwell. You know Dobie?
I follow his page, but I think he said he was going to quit comedy.
Yeah, so he's quitting comedy, and he was such a great act, and a great man, and a good friend of mine, and he was out there in Minnesota when that guy that kid shot the kid with the gun and shot the people at the petition, at the march or whatever, and he's just like. He goes, it's just crazy. And all I could think of was if George Floyd wasn't, if they didn't find this idiot Chauvin, charged,
right.
It would just, I mean, me as a white man, I would be scared to walk the streets. I really would have. I would have. It seemed like it was going to be, what was it? Did you ever hear about that? The guy, what is it? The guy who killed he was like kind of like the butler, and they made a movie about it, Bernie, with Jack Black, and he killed the old lady, and I think the old lady the actress was Shirley MacLaine, and she was so mean to him, and he was like the butler / pastor. And then he just fucking shot her. He just shot her one day. He just couldn't take it no more from her. And then they couldn't find somebody that would convict him, and they just had to keep moving the juries until they could get this guy convicted.
Sounds like Driving Miss Daisy, the white version.
But it was crazy.
You know.
Well, yeah. But that's the culture we're in of it's different, man. You know, I mean, my brother
sentencing is different for people, right? I don't know how people cannot admit that sentencing is different among the races. I mean, when it's just overwhelming evidence that it's different. You know, like they have to look for a jury for that guy you're talking about. And I bet they wouldn't have to find a jury for somebody that, of color. They went, we got that right here.
No, we got it.
Yeah. So
it's a weird type of with the cancel culture and then the re-examining of things. Jimmy, like you said, it's people looking at it now with different eyes and looking at the past. Because there was this thing I saw recently about the Menendez brothers, and it's a small upswell, but it still exists as to where they want to re-examine the trial because these kids did suffer sexual abuse. So therefore, maybe we shouldn't have them in prison for the rest of their life. It's a bizarre thing that's going on.
Yeah. No.
Man,
so
here's something. What do you think about this, man? Here's Brian Doggett's prediction.
Oh, man.
5 years.
I think he'll get more than that, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, like man. So what was the kid? The kid that was Shane or whatever on Saturday Night Live, right? So he gets hired on Saturday Night Live.
Oh yeah, some shit that he said popped up.
Well,
all of a sudden,
yeah, and he was making fun of Asians and whatever. And I think the Asian guy on the show, I don't know if he was the reason he got fired, but it's like they've made fun of everybody for 50 years on Saturday Night Live, and this guy
I don't think the Asian guy was angry with them because he was like, I'm on Saturday Night Live. This is great.
Right.
I think it was it was cancel culture
that
found a bunch of his stuff. Yeah, and what surprised me that Lauren Michaels caved because of all the controversial people he's had.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to have a fight for this one guy?
Yeah.
How do you, after all the people you've had on there, and you're like, no, I don't want to have this guy on.
Mm-hmm.
That one I didn't understand.
Yeah, no,
because Lauren Michaels has enough money to sit in court every damn day and go, no, I couldn't keep him on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm going to put him in more sketches just because you're focusing on this.
I'm gonna put him in more sketches.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put him in Asian hate sketch just because I can do it.
Yeah, it would have been the first time a first-year cast member actually hosts the show.
Yeah,
he's gonna be hosting next week too. So.
He's gonna host every week. He'll just co-host with a star.
Paul Brown says that he thinks Shaw was gonna get 20 at sentencing, but on appeals he doesn't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if that's true, Lynn. I think Lamont just
had a bad internet drop.
Had a bad internet connection, but
you left to get your
would have been funny if he had came back with a scarf.
If I had seen that ahead of time, I would have come back with a scarf.
You came back with a boa. Dude came back with a boa. He's like, I just got back from my shows in New Orleans. On the Holland Princess. Oh wait, is that bad? Cancel culture. I said princess.
Hey, speaking of the shows, I didn't send you the photos, Lamont. I was going to send you the photos of. I was in Colorado Springs last night, and I was looking for your photo up on the wall, but I don't think it's there.
No, because I think
Because I
remember
was
the last
finding
time that I was there,
everybody's,
I don't believe it was there either.
yeah, I was finding everybody's old ass
Yeah, it's
photos.
so funny that they have all those completely old, and then there's spaces that are missing because people have been taken down, or I don't know what happened. But it is
Yeah,
funny that may be one of the only clubs that I still work that where they still have that wall of old headshots going
I
on.
love it though. But the reason
Yeah.
I brought it up is because, and you tell me what you think, Jimmy. The club was packed, and I know for a fact that those tables were not 6 feet apart
Mm-hmm.
because the club was. It looked like a regular Friday night at the
Wow.
club, and so I'm sitting there over by the door. I got my mask on until I go on, even though I'm fully vaccinated. I'm still like, God damn! And you could
Mm-hmm.
tell the people that were from Denver, that the comics that came down from Denver, because we were like the only ones that were wearing our mask.
No.
You go on stage, take the mask off, do your set, come back. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Wow.
Well, so that's good. I mean, of course, I mean, I think it's a little different for you guys compared to me in LA. Where are you, Lamont? Are you
I'm in
Denver?
Long Beach. I'm in LA area.
Okay, so we're wearing masks and we're doing our thing.
Yeah.
So my friend, an actor, he just got back from Gulf Shores, Alabama. He goes, nobody was wearing a mask, Jimmy. He goes, nobody. He goes, a family came into a restaurant where I was wearing a mask, and I took it off to eat, and everybody looked at him like, who the fuck are they? Aliens?
Wow.
Like they didn't believe that somebody was wearing a mask.
Wow.
So that was
Yeah.
all awkward, but it goes further when they came over and started talking to him because he's so New York, and he's got this like big, like weird goatee mustache looking thing, and but when he talks, he's so like Staten Island, New York, and he goes, and they go, you're from New York, and you live in L.A., and he goes, do people wear masks everywhere? I heard they wear them like everywhere, like they walk in the street with masks. And he's like, yeah, people wear masks, and they're like, Joe, come here. And next thing you know, there's like 30
Wow.
people around him, and he's telling the story of the map in Los Angeles.
Wow.
Swear on my life, man. He said it was crazy.
Yeah,
So we're never gonna beat this. We can't beat this.
I know, really. Yeah.
That's the moral of this story. We can't,
because there's always going to be pockets where it can just COVID will just retreat. Well, I'm just going to sit back here for a little while. Take this little corner in Minnesota real quick, or Wisconsin. I'm going to say in Wisconsin or Arkansas. That's crazy.
Yeah. One positive, because I've heard that story, Lou, from other places where they said, "Oh yeah, we're supposed to have the social distancing place," but when I was there, it looked like there was nothing. It was just absolutely packed. The only positive thing is that seems to be a demand for stand-up. That's the only positive thing that you could pull out of it, is that people still are clamoring, or not still, but they are clamoring to see stand-up. So.
And let me tell you guys the format of the show, because I have been agonizing because it was a roast battle, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't have to be part of the roast battle. I was just one of the hot spots. But I watched the format, and I love the fucking format, the way they did it.
Yeah.
They have like the two hosts go up, and they talk for about 5 minutes. Then they bring up the first hotspot guest, which is a comic doing like a 10 to 15-minute set. And after that 10-minute set, then they start the first roast battle. And so it's two people against each other, and they have a timer on the stage. Okay. And you have to start out every sentence with "you look like." If you don't start it out with "you look like," you get penalized, and you have to stand in the front of the stage and put yourself down for 3 times. and then you go back to battle with the person. And at the end, the crowd decides who won that round. And then they bring up the next 2 people to battle, and they battle, and it's just great, So you look like this, and then after that they bring up another hot spot, right? It was a great lineup. Bring another hot spot. That guy does 10 to 15 minutes, and then they have the third battle was, I thought it was after they did 3 battles, right? And the last one where they decide the final 2, it was a great twist because they get somebody out of the audience. They have them sit in the chair. And then the 3 winners have to sit there on the mic and put down the person on the chair with "You Look Like." And then the audience decides who out of the 2 out of the 3 who were the best.
Wow.
And then they bring up another hot spot, the last hot spot, which was me, and I do 10 to 15. And then they had those final 2 battle it out after your set. And it sounds like it's a long show, but it was quick because, even the battles were just 5 minutes, basically.
Right.
And if they wanted if the crowd wanted to see some more, they would just start yelling, "1 more minute, 1 more minute." And then they put another minute on the clock and let them battle for 60 more seconds. And man, they were brutal, but they were funny as hell.
That's interesting.
It was a very good roast battle. I was just glad that I wasn't involved in it because those motherfuckers.
Because you look like.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm like, last thing I need, man. But it was great. It was great. But hey, going back into this real quick, I know you guys probably saw this in the chat. April says that she wouldn't mind if Chauvin got Epstein. Debbie Davis says she wonders what type of prison he will go to and the demographics of the facilities. Karma, bitch, yeah. But then Lynn jumps in. Karma's usually asleep at the wheel. Somebody needs to kick her awake and make sure Buddy lands in an open population. Well, I like that she made Karma a her. That's
Karma's a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. And send those complaints to Jimmy D Della Valle. And this is raw. I didn't heard this that the Joe Dark says the guards in Minnesota are suing because they've been removed from their regular jobs because they don't trust them around Chauvin. Wow. Man, do you think he would get taken out in jail?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I actually follow a lot of like underground prison stuff and stuff all over the world, and guys like that completely will get taken out. I don't think he's gonna float through country club prison. I think he's gonna. I'm not saying he's gonna get sexually assaulted every single day, but he could get completely killed. Did you see that TV show Your Honor? It's based on, so you got the black kid comes, and he comes stumbling out, but he was like, the dude was like, I was defending myself, and he beat that kid to death, right?
Yeah.
So my cousin is black, and he just did 21-year bid, so he just got out. So he wrote a movie about it, and he told me, he goes, watch Shot Caller. You see it on Netflix?
Is that the one with the guy that played, he was in that Batman movie?
I don't know. He's in Game of Thrones. He's like in. 50s.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, I saw Shot Caller. I did see it.
Oh, with the mustache and the
blonde guy.
Yeah, so he said to me, my cousin goes, it's the most real life movie they've ever made about prison.
Because he goes in, he's innocent basically, but then he gets twisted by the system, and he eventually rises up and he becomes one of the shot callers.
Right.
And it's like, that shit was evil, man.
Yeah, it's a badass movie. So what my cousin was explaining to me was, he goes, you know what a robbery is in real life? And I go, yeah, of course, since we were talking about it. And then he goes, well, let me tell you about a robbery in prison. He goes, I saw 4 dudes put a razor to a dude's neck, make the guy shit out the balloon, wash it off, and then give it to him. The dude had snuck the drugs in, and I was like, whoa, that's, like they're going to kill him if he doesn't, So
that's some hardcore. I mean, you can see pissing right on you, but you got to shit on demand.
You got to shit on demand, and
Well,
so he just was explaining to me how close that is. So I talked to him about the whole Chauvin thing. He goes, I don't think he'll last a few months. He goes, they're going to just. He goes, there's no African American, black man, whatever. There's no black man that's going to be in prison, that's in prison for life or 30, 40 years, that's going to let this motherfucker get away.
what about this thing that April just said? That 8 black guards have a suit that was first filed last summer for being removed from their regular duties and whites only guarding him and giving him special privileges. Wow. Like giving personal cell phones. It's amazing the shit that would probably turn out to be true. And you go, that's not true. Right. And then you go, oh shit, that was real?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as silly as it is, think of how powerful Epstein was. And we all think they got him. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you can't get this fucking clown, Chauvin? Yeah. He's nothing compared to who Epstein was. And Epstein could have anybody guard him all day, So that was an inside, no.
I think Epstein would have been a bigger story if we had been on COVID,
Yeah.
Would have been a much bigger story.
Yeah, he'd have been the Tiger King. Pretty much.
You think he would have still been alive if we had been on COVID at the time when he went in?
That's a good question. I mean, you become so damn famous if people are watching it. When was Epstein? Was it 2019?
A couple years ago, wasn't it? Yeah.
So it was before COVID. Yeah. Crazy.
So where are you at, Jimmy? Where are you located at?
LA.
Okay, so you haven't been out to New York in a while then. Did you see that the New York clubs have started reopening now, New York comedy clubs?
Yeah. So my buddy Will Sylvince and John Joseph and Artie Fuqua, DC Benny, they're all out there doing spots.
One of my Colorado boys was the first one back on stage in New York officially after COVID. That was John Laster. He was the first comic officially on stage in New York.
Wow. John Laster, I haven't seen him in forever. We kind of came up through the New York scene. He did a lot more of the urban shows, but I did them too. But and then he really developed, and it was nice to see him develop. And then I moved to LA, and then we met up with each other at the Haha, and I was like, yo, congrats, man. You really found your voice. And he had I think it was the diversity thing, right? Isn't that what he did?
I think so. I think he did one of those, yeah.
No, but I think he won it. I think he won it.
Yeah, the NBC diversity.
And it was a big deal. It was a big deal. Yeah.
I mean, what do you think? What's your take on the difference between the New York and the LA clubs?
Of during the whole COVID?
No, not during COVID, just in general, pre-COVID.
No, pre-COVID. I mean, I've always thought when it comes to stand-up, I thought there was the list of chain of command of comedy. I've always thought that New York and Boston comics were the best, and then San Francisco, LA, and then you had your Chicago, your Denver. But the thing was about like Denver, like you're the guy who stays local in Denver, and you're a beast. You're a great comedian, versatile, can do clean, can do dirty, whatever. This is a different thing of a showcase club. That's what I'm talking about. A guy that gets up and can just like one of my good friends is Keith Robinson, right? So Keith Robinson is like a grandfather of comedy in New York now. You know what I mean? He's discovered Kevin Hart, all this stuff. And so Keith I used to go open for Keith, and we'd go to the Catch a Rising Star. And he's like, oh man, I gotta, the way he talks, oh man, I gotta get he's like, I gotta put like 4 15 minutes together for this hour. Like, you know what I mean? Because that was his showcase sets. So he would put 4 different 15 minutes, And then, so we get there like on Tuesday, and by like Thursday or first show Friday, he'd have it, just slamming that hour. But it was like, because, we normally would just go in with the, those fast sets. So when I came to LA and they were like, you go to Laugh Factory and they're like, you do your 5 or 6 or 7, whatever it was to become a regular, I just ripped that 7 minutes. Jamie made me a regular the second he saw me. You know what I mean? The improv as well. They had that, what was it, Wednesday night? And they started doing this like later show where they showcase comics. And there were a whole bunch of comics. And I just went in, just rapid fire. And then I came off the stage. And I think...
so it's like what Leanne was talking about when Leanne was there. When she would watch... Remember that, Lamont? She was talking about how she would see LA comics and she'd be thinking, you get to the joke.
Right.
Get to the joke. And LA comics like, man, you just... What are you doing, man? You got time. So
no, that's
yeah.
They think that's funny. It's like they think they're stuck on the 405 with the joke. Yeah, they just it's ridiculous, man. Because so I had a comic that I thought was kind of funny, and I took him on about a 2-week run with me through LA, San Fran, all these different things. And then one night, and I'm a good dude. I'm a generous dude, but I can be a dick. You know what I mean? I can be a dick because
Jimmy, can be a dick?
But
really?
Look, I came up with Patrice O'Neal, Rich Voss. You know what I mean? These are the thugs, man, that I came up with. You know. And I remember sitting there, and nothing I hate more than having a feature go over his time. You can go over a few minutes, okay, if you're killing, but don't do 50 when you're supposed to do 30, 35,
God.
right?
Oh, man.
And the dude is doing the hands and shit, know, and as the feature. And
he's doing the hands bit?
He's doing the hands, right? and he goes, so what do you guys want to talk about? I go, get the fuck off of the stage! So I screamed from the back of the room, man. And he's like, oh, I guess that's my sign. Are you guys ready for your headline? He's like, what the fuck? After, he's like, what the fuck? I go, dude, I wanted to kill you. You're lucky I only screamed at you, man. Wow. I said, there's a respect, man.
That is such a pain in the ass. I think when I was in Texas.
Hands plus what do you guys want to talk about?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I remember I worked in Texas with Bill Hicks, and I was doing short sets because I wanted to watch Hicks. But the MC is on stage doing extra fucking time. Oh. And all of us are like, what the fuck are you doing? Dude, this is Houston. Okay, this is where he's from. This is Houston. Okay. Every show this week is
like a laptop or something.
Yeah, right? Every show. It was Spellbinders.
The best club ever.
Yeah, every show this week in this 400-seat room is sold out, and you're up there doing extra time. They didn't come to fucking see you, and you're the MC. Nobody gives a fuck. Just oh man, it was just. I could just see you yelling that too. Get the fuck.
What do you guys want to talk about? Get the fuck off! And screamed it out, man. And man, was that, and he was he was driving because I always make the fucking opener. That was always the thing. Patrice like, make that fucking opener drive you. Patrice like, he goes, Patrice like, don't give him gas money. He would tell me. He'd say shit.
Did Patrice ever talk about what he thought? What how long it takes for a comic to become like really good? Because I know you guys had conversations about just comedy in general and his philosophy of comedy.
Yeah,
because I just think Patrice was just a beautiful beast on stage.
He was a genius, man. Off stage too. Yeah. We would have little things where we would sit and rip each other's acts apart, and he kind of knew my act. He would call me. And I was headlining, and he'd be like, "Jimmy is the best glorified open micer you will ever see." So we'd laugh about it, because I was just a young kid, but they took me in, and And one thing he would do is he would sit there, and I think I told you the story last time of when we watched Gary Owen. Did I ever tell you that story?
Oh, tell us that one again, man. I remember that.
So me and Patrice worked Caroline's almost every night, and Rich Voss, and that was our. If we were in town, we were there. And Gary Owen was headlining. He just, and your fans don't probably know, but Gary Owen is a white guy who won Best Black Comedian of the Year.
Yeah.
So Patrice was not happy about that at all. Right? So now we're at Caroline's, and I said, hey man, I want to watch this guy. I heard he's really funny. And he's like, he goes, he would do a lot of that. Right? And he goes, all right. So we walk in, and he goes, hey guys, hey, it's good to be here. I never appreciate. He goes, that's enough. That was his first lines of hey guys, so excited to be here. And he's like, that's enough. And he walked out of the room.
I think Gary's about to get the real black experience now because he just got divorced, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
yeah.
So that's gonna be I like to see those handoffs for the kids.
His divorce is going to be long. His divorce is going to be longer than Black Church, as he likes to do. He likes to do that Black Church joke.
Yeah. Hey man, that's gonna be something, man. I mean, it was. Hey, how long do you think it takes for somebody to become a good comic?
So I remember I was in New York, and I felt like your first 5 to 10 years, you're just practicing. That's kind of how I felt. Like you're just practicing. Of course you have some really good sets and they whatever. And then, being a regular and bouncing from club to club to club, there was 1 year, almost 2 years of like a lot of groans and weirdness that was coming out of my shows. And, wasn't every joke, but it was like something. I was like, oh, what? Am I delivering this wrong and this and that? And some of the comics like, you just haven't found your voice yet, man. They go, once you find your voice, you will get away with anything. And then one night I was at Caroline's, and me and Eddie Brill were really good friends. And Eddie goes, why don't you smile more, Jimmy? Just smile. Like you're not an asshole, and just smile. And Vic Henley told me too. Vic Henley, because he used to host at Caroline's a lot. And
Vic Henley.
Once I started smiling, it changed my whole career. Wow. It took me to, that's when I found my voice. And I was like, okay, I can be, I could talk about stereotypes. I could talk about pussy. I could talk about whatever I want. It became almost, I have a joke about the C word that I could get away with, and it kills. Yeah. I don't want to disrespect your fan base, but it was such a great joke, and people are like,
doesn't want to disrespect our fan base.
Yeah. Well, you want me to tell you it?
You don't know our fans.
Okay, so then I'll say it. So, but I can't. Of course, I couldn't do it on ships. I could do it in some clubs, and comics would see it and go, "Man, that joke is great," and they go, and then I can't remember who the older comic was, maybe Joe Sullivan, I think, or Joe Mulligan. And he goes, you found your voice. That's why you can get away with that joke now. So the joke was, my dad used to get mad at me for swearing in front of my friends. And I remember one time we were eating at the dinner table, and it was me, my mom, and my dad, and I was eating, and I dropped my fork. I go, fuck. And he goes, what did I tell you about swearing in front of your mother? She's not one of your cunt girlfriends. You understand? And it's what he said. I swear on my life.
Hey man, I'm telling you, man.
That's hilarious.
You can't. That's your dad. You can't be. You can't lie on him. My dad.
Cunt girlfriends.
That's parents, man.
Funny.
Yeah, so
it is funny how you're right, because sometimes it is just a small thing, like Brill telling you to smile that changed the bet. I remember now this, I don't know whether or not it changed anything in this gentleman's career, but I was San Francisco comedy competition. I'm doing that whatever year that was that I did it. I'm in the finals. Myself, Daryl Lennox, Rob Pugh, Rob Little, and Joe Klosick. And Joe Klosick's out of San Francisco.
It's a good lineup. It's a great lineup.
Yeah, phenomenal comic. And Joe wasn't doing well in front of the audiences, and he kept saying, he goes, I don't understand what's going on. The jokes should be working and stuff. But the audiences in the finals, they're theaters. So they're mostly older type of audience. Not old people, but older than kids is what they are that are going out to these shows. And I said, I go, Joe, how old are you? Because he looks like a kid. And he goes, oh, I'm whatever age he was at the time, which was maybe 4 or 5 years younger than I was. And I said, well, that's the problem. The problem is this audience thinks you're a kid because you look like a kid. So therefore, they don't give you any validity in all the stuff that you're talking about, which is smart and coming from that perspective. I said, you got to tell them that you may look young, but you're as old as they are. And he goes, I never thought of it. And he tried it. And then he was having solid sets from that point on out. But yeah, sometimes it is just a small thing that maybe you don't see. That
you're a very nice man, Lamont. You're not cranky, as people say. You to give him like that little tip where he might knock your ass out of the competition.
Well,
that's
so
amazing.
I think I'm not 100% sure. I'm a little bit of a historian with comedy and things like that. So when you did that festival, I didn't know you, but I was on tour doing the Brooklyn Comedy Tour with Tommy Savage. Did Tommy Savage do it that year?
Tommy didn't do it that year.
Because I know he won it. He won it
not sure.
The next year then, maybe.
Yeah, because he may have won Seattle the following year, because I know I was there to MC that thing after that.
That was the John Fox one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because I remember talking to John Fox about that and going, how the fuck is this the same? It's in Reno. It's in what the fuck? So I decided not to do it. I said, I don't. And he's like, I go, why is it not in San Francisco? Why is it not in Cobb's? Why is it not over here?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Man, Lou, that contest, because I did Seattle the year prior, and I was just in the point of the stage of finding the voice and doing the act and getting right. And I got knocked out in Seattle in the semifinals. And a guy who was hosting, he goes, I don't know if this is the contest for you. He goes, because of what you do is kind of too smart for the contest and what's going on in this thing. He goes, but try San Francisco. He goes, San Francisco, you should do well in San Francisco. So I was like, all right, fine. So I tried it the next year. So the first night was in San Francisco, heart of the city. And then, Jimmy, you're right. The next night was in Reno.
Yeah.
Reno, Nevada. Yeah. But that first night, I'm ready. I'm locked in. I'm ready. And this is the first time I ever met Daryl Lennox. I'm watching these comics go up, and I'm like, okay, well, this should be simple enough. I watched a guy do a 5-minute set talking about his poop. I wish I was exaggerating, but he was a 5-minute set of him talking about his poop, and poops was the punchline throughout. And then I went up and start my stuff, and that audience, I might as well have been the devil. And there was nothing. They wanted nothing to do with me. And I even called out. I go, you guys just watched the dude talk about poop, and you fell out of your chairs, and then I'm up here stuff. So I finished up the set, and I walked past Daryl Lennox, and I mumbling to myself, I said, I thought they were going to be doing comedy here. I don't know what happened. I thought they would do comedy. So the next night in Reno, we're getting ready to go up, and Daryl sees me, and he goes, are you going to tell this audience that they're stupid tonight like you did last night? And I said, I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Oh, fuck, dude. How do you...
No, it's so funny because I remember doing a showcase at the Hollywood Improv, and they were doing it. It was like for a network, and Gersh was there. They were all looking for all these new clients, and the host was this black comic. You guys probably, I can't remember his name. He's not a star or nothing, but he was with the Improv at that point, and he just kept saying the N-word and pussy and these dirty bitches, and he's hosting and he's doing all, and I'm going to freaking I think my manager and then Rita was at the Improv, and I was like, how the fuck do I fuck you? I'm supposed to be clean for a showcase. Wow. This guy's saying the N-word, and I mean full on, like, and he's funny and he's killing with it. And you're like going, and I think his name is like Daryl or something. It's not Daryl Lennox though. Right. I think you guys know. He's the NASCAR black comic. He's got the glasses.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. But what I love, Lamont, is the way Jimmy said it. He's saying it full on. It's like
he's using the R. He was using the R. But how I do when there's no black people around. you guys look, and everyone knows it. Like as your fan had said, but it's like, look, I'm not racist. I'm Italian. It's like how it's how we grew up, and it was like. And that's a thing. That's such an Italian thing. Like I've seen a guy goes, use the R. You can use the R. Like, and there's no black people, and you're in this like Italian Brooklyn social club. Use the R, Joey. It's all right.
It's just fucking amazing, man. Hey, Jimmy, what is your pre-show ritual, by the way, man? I think we never asked you that last time. Before you go on, what's your pre-show?
So it used to be the vomit.
For real?
When I was younger, yeah.
Oh, man.
I was pretty, like, I felt sick. Maybe.
Were you in New York at that time?
Take a shit. Yeah.
You in New York at the time?
Shit. Yeah. But my stomach would just, like, IBS, and, oh, man. But now, and I know I'm not the only one. A lot of people, man, they listen to Eminem, Lose Yourself.
Right.
It's like great. It's just, you just feel like you're in the mirror, and you just
the clubs in Canada that I work, Ottawa, Kingston, and Toronto. That's the song that he uses prior to the show. Matter of fact, it's a whole schedule thing. That's 6 minutes prior to showtime, because that's how long the song is. That's what they start playing, and it's like they'll start it up, and then they'll go, "Ladies and gentlemen, your headliner Louis Johnson is in the back of the room, and it is 6 minutes till showtime." And then dun 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 dun.
That's beautiful.
Well, that one, and also DMX. I listen to a lot of DMX with. Well, my dogs, that thing, that really would get me going. I do that when I play poker too. When, like, if I'm losing, I'm like, let me pop that in, and then I feel like I'm just like in a good, and then I start winning. I feel, I don't know, who knows?
Yeah, some clubs have great openings. Like I would love that opening when they play Lose Yourself. There was a club, I think it was Green Bay or something like that. I worked, and I was like, this is one of the best openings for a show. They would do the whole, and keep your table talk to a minimum. Are you guys ready to start the show? And people go, and they go, okay, that was bullshit. Let's do this over again. And then they had a song that's played, and the staff would come down, and they had certain points in the crowd where they would stand, and the staff would just be like this.
Oh, wow.
Getting everybody going, and like, yeah, and people like, oh, we got a show for you guys tonight. We got 3 great comics, and they're here. And everybody's like, yeah. And please welcome your host at MC. Here he is. And the host walks up, and the lights go out, and the show starts. And it was like, it was so focused from the beginning of the show to, and I was like, man, I would work this club every other week if you want me to.
Oh, yeah. What is the one, now, I don't know if you guys ever played Bananas. You ever play Bananas?
Long time ago.
It's a chain. It's a chain of them. So there was one in Poughkeepsie, one in Jersey, and then another one, I think, in like upstate New York, somewhere else. And this was it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the show, blah, blah, blah. Yes, you had no bananas. And they would play the song for like 2 or 3 minutes. And they go, and your host is
Wow. That's funny.
But I love you gotta admit, you gotta admit, Jimmy, that is a great Pavlov's dog thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, when you play Lose Yourself, play Go Bananas, that is great because the people they're like saying to their friends, "Oh, show's about to start now. Y'all better get ready."
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I would totally do that if I had a club. I would Pavlov dog everybody. They know.
Yeah, he's got it down to a thing where he's got because that Lose Yourself, it doesn't start there. It starts with that soft piano. That's where it starts. That ding 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 ding, and that's when that announcement comes. Then as soon as so he makes sure that every doorman that makes that announcement hits the cues right, and then they're pulsing the lights for a few seconds, and then they walk away and then let it just kind of go.
Well, I auditioned for 8 Mile.
That's great. That is
I auditioned for 8 Mile, and actually did table read with the cast and stuff, and I didn't end up getting it. And the guy who's actually in that movie Shot Caller, he plays Spider, and he's also in oh man, what's the name of the movie that they rob all the banks with Gerard Butler? That just came out.
I can't remember.
Or whatever.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So I auditioned for Cheddar Bob, and the actor's name is Evan Handler, or Evan. I think it's Evan Handler. Yeah, and it's just such. It's such a. That song is so amazing, and to know that song, and I met Jimmy Iovine, who. I don't know if you guys know that whole story. That's a whole nother story with me and Jimmy Iovine. He just, you got Dr. Dre, but really Jimmy Iovine discovered him because his assistant saw Eminem perform that night in like some bullshit club in LA and said, "Man, this guy was amazing," and blah blah blah. And he goes, "Well, whatever. What do you want me to do?" He goes,
bring him to Dre.
He goes, "Get me
bring him to Dre."
No, he had to get a demo. He had to get a demo. So he had to go back out and find the demo, and that's the history of how Eminem made it.
Ask your guy about this, man. But I heard a rumor that Eminem, before he was known, used to go into the online forums, because I used to follow the online forums where guys would just trade lyrics. There'd be some guy would just start flowing, and then he'd throw it to somebody else, and there was a guy who used to go in and battle people online, and I've heard the rumor that it was Eminem. He used to go in. So, I mean, can you imagine that? Here's a young Eminem, and you're just this guy.
He was just like a green Eminem.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, that shit was funny, son. That was
you Italian motherfucker. That was funny. Hey, by the way, Joe Dark wants to know. Oh, let me just say this real quick. Lynn corrected me that that Lamont is cranky. Never make the mistake. He might suck in, but don't be fooled. He is master cranky pants, and that is the truth. But let me ask this: Joe Dark wants to know, do you guys have walk-up music?
It all depends. I've used various songs. It depends on what's going on in the room or what I feel like on that part of the particular tour. A lot of times, like on the ship, I'll use "I'll Be Around" by the Spinners.
Oh, by the way, that movie John Batista was called Den of Thieves. Yeah.
No, that's great. I love
my go-to is always
the Platters.
I mean, I have a lot of them, but I still like some old James Brown. Watch me. I got it. Watch me. I got it. I love that. And then I use a lot of hip hop, but if it's something where I don't know who the DJ is and they're asking me, can you name it? I just say, man, just put the James Brown on, man.
I started doing All I Do Is Win.
Oh wow.
And I actually do the whole thing where in the audience they're going out of their minds, and I go, "Oh shit, here comes my favorite part. Oh, God damn. And they start going crazy. And then I go, Ludacris. I go, I ain't going to rap. But I go, Ludacris. And I cut it. But then, of course, you know, some of them sound DJs on the ship, you're like, I got it. And they ruined the bit. Every time,
it's still going.
But regardless, they're laughing like crazy before it because I'm like, oh damn! I'm grabbing my dick. I'm going nuts.
I used even recently. I did a little throwback thing. What is it? The Bad Boys for Life thing with Nelly. All of them in that thing, and just to make fun of the lyric where he says, "Is that your ass or is your mama half reindeer?"
How come rappers and singers get away with that?
Is that your ass? Who's your mama?
That singer used to have that song. Is there any room for me in those jeans?
Yeah.
You couldn't say that shit to some woman on the. Yo, baby, is there some room for me in them jeans? Please, are you fucking? You can't say that shit. Oh man. Okay. Last one.
Hang on, real quick. Joe Darkett puts up, and I just wanted to say about because he asked about Brett Favre's comments.
Oh yeah,
on the Chauvin
Brett Favre said he said it's hard.
Oh, I didn't know
believe.
What he said on the Chauvin thing. I just reread it.
Because
I thought he was talking about the football thing. I didn't hear Brett Favre's comments on the show.
Brett Favre said it's hard to believe that Derek Chauvin meant to kill George Floyd.
Oh, good Lord!
And so, that's what he wants to know. He goes, his thing says. Here's what Brett Favre said. I find it hard to believe, and I'm not defending Derek Chauvin in any way. I find it hard to believe, first of all, that he intentionally meant to kill George Floyd. That being said, his actions weren't called for. I don't care what color the person is on the street. I don't know what led to that video that we saw where his knee is on his neck, but the man had thrown in the towel.
Oh. I don't know why Brett Favre thinks that he's still relevant on any social issues. He just pops up here and there on stuff out of nowhere, which makes no sense.
Yeah, he should
it's not like he's been a guy who's spoken out. It'd be one thing if he was like Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley's been speaking out about everything forever. But all of a sudden, Brett Favre, I guess because I thought he had meant the comment where Brett Favre recently said he didn't want to watch football anymore because it wasn't fun because he doesn't think it's about football anymore. He made that comment, I don't know, like 3 weeks ago, and now he's made this. It's like, Brett, look, dude, go coach the high school team.
He should just stick to his copper fit elbow thing,
right?
And just leave it at that.
Where we believe that you and Jerry Rice go out and play pickup football. Okay, sure, all right, go do that.
Yeah, how's that old guy just keep hitting how does he get the ball to this receiver like that so quickly? It's like it's fucking Brett Favre. He nails him in the chest and he catches it. It's too fucking real.
This is off subject. Who's the best actor working right now that was an athlete?
Oh wow. The best actor working right now who was an athlete. I mean, does The Rock work?
I was just saying The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock would put superstar status. Let's not go with The Rock.
Oh, you meant somebody who's actual, just you consider them a real actor, actor's actor.
Like I think he's a phenomenal actor.
Oh, wow.
I think he's great with comedy.
I don't know who's your opinion.
Peyton Manning.
Oh, Peyton, yeah,
those commercials, right?
Yeah.
It's like, but then the thing is, me as an actor and booking, all that stuff. That's something I did want to run on you guys. You guys to be auditioning. I don't know if you're out there auditioning and stuff, but it used to be like, looking for a brother in his late 30s, 40s, and boom, that's it. But now it's like looking for a brother, or it could be a white guy or any ethnicity. So it went from having, we could go with 10 different brothers to now we go with 40 different people. You got Asian guys, you got all different blue collar guys going up for the same part. And now you got Manning, who's a great commercial actor, but what the fuck, man, retire. he doesn't need to do damn commercials, man. That's what I'm talking about. It's like it's a different world, man.
Wow.
It's a different world. It is man, one of the guys who didn't need to get into podcasting, but I'm glad he got into podcasting. Kevin Hart got into podcasting. And I have to admit, man, Lamont sent me a note last night talking about the Sarah Silverman thing. I don't really want to listen to it, but now I have to listen to it. And I listened to it last night, and it was a great interview with her.
Yeah, I just started listening to it. I'm probably 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's a great interview, and I'm so glad that he started the podcast because in that podcast, there's a bunch of moments that happen. And I do have another podcast, Jim, for you that came on. Not the one with Naomi Campbell, because I like hers too.
Right.
But I found this. Let me post this in the thing right now. We'll get out of here in a few minutes. But this, for those of you, for the comedy geeks like me and Lamont, this one is the one you're going to love. I'll put the link up right now. It's Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, and Q-Tip.
Oh, wow.
And in the back, Leonardo DiCaprio is just hanging out on the couch smoking a joint. Okay. Wow. And so they get him to lean in and say something real quick. And he's like, dude, I'm just hanging out. I just like be hanging with you guys. Like, what? Fucking Leonardo DiCaprio's on the fuck. Yeah. So these four men in this room just listening to music, smoking weed, and talking comedy and just stuff in general. It's a fucking great hour.
Wow.
So yeah, if you guys are comedy nerds like us, check that out. Jimmy, bruh, man, this has been good, man. By the way, you guys know Todd Thomas was supposed to be here, but the great thing that's happening now is that a lot of us are picking up work. So he had picked up a couple of headline spots at the Improv tonight. That's why he couldn't come in because he's on East Coast time. So
who was it? Who was it?
Todd Thomas.
Okay, Todd Thomas.
Yeah, so he was supposed to be here with us, but he had last minute had to bow out because he had to go do spots. So we'll have him back through. Man, this has been fun, man.
It's fun. It's always
another
fun.
Good one.
Another good one. Hey, before we get out, Jimmy, what are your hopes for the rest of the year?
Man, I just want to I just want people to stay safe and just be smart about the virus. I mean, I pretty much have done nothing. I didn't go anywhere for a year. I start live shows next week, and every weekend I've got something booked. And it's just going to be great. And just hope that people get vaccinated. And if they don't get vaccinated, at least they're smart and they wear a mask. I mean, if somebody, that's the one thing. If somebody is not vaccinated and they have a chance, and then they die or they get really sick, it's like, it's so sad. Like, you had a chance to get vaccinated, man. I mean, at least what we know is if you get vaccinated and you get COVID, you're going to live through it. But if you don't get vaccinated, you could die. It's like gambling. It's like, hey, COVID.
Yeah. It's craziness. All right, well, cool. Don't go anywhere, Jimmy. Thank you for everybody to coming through. We will see you Tuesday. We've got Joe Deuce and a young lady that I just did a show with up in here in Colorado. Her name is Mandy Kay. Very, very funny. I mean, just one of those people where you just go, you ever just see somebody, you walk away and you go, as you walk up to her and you go, I fucking love you. I love you. I love your fucking show.
Oh, yeah. Are you doing a plug or anything? So if anybody wants to get me?
Yeah, man. Throw it in, man.
Just, it's jimmydelavalle.com. But if you can't remember that, just funnyjimmy.com. And you can click. You can watch my sitcom that's on Amazon Prime that I've now put on right on the cover. And I've actually linked it to YouTube. So people
say it again. It's funnyjimmy.com.
Funnyjimmy.com. Yep. JMMY.com. And you can add me on social media. Please go add my YouTube channel. I just started promoting that.
What's your Instagram and your
It's at Jimmy Della Valle. They're both JIMMY DELLAVALLE.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, man. Dude, much respect.
Thank you, man.
Thanks for coming back through.
Thanks,
And by the way, man, it was so cool when we get to when I put stuff up and people who have been here with me and Lamont for the chat, they tell other people, yeah, you should do that. So
yeah, yeah.
Because we have fun next month. By the way, folks, next month, we're probably I got to talk to Lamont about this, but we might go to just Tuesdays for the month because the rest of the week is going to be like all the best ofs and some of the favorite chats that you guys have really liked, and we got some crazy ones off the bat. I know going to be rebroadcasting. What's his name? You bitch, Tommy Chun.
Tommy Chun.
We're definitely gonna rebroadcast the Tommy Chun because that was a crazy chat. All right, yo, Jimmy.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
Much love, respect. Don't go anywhere, man. Hold on for a second.
Okay.
Thank you guys for coming through. See you Tuesday.